Are you still speaking slowly English and afraid talking to natives? So this is the right video for you. In this video, I'll give you a couple of tips that will help you to speak up to 50% faster and sound more natural. My name is Igor, I am a private language teacher and a co-founder of the English with Net online school. So let's not waste any more time and get down to business. First of all, to speak English fluently, you have to know the phrases to construct sentences from them. As weird as it may sound, sometimes we memorize the words incorrectly. So we find a new word in the dictionary, watching a movie or listening to a song, and we just try to remember it as it is. For example, we have just learned the word age. Quite a simple one, yeah? Age basically means the quantity of years that you have. So you've learned the word, but you don't know how to use it. Age, so what? How am I supposed to speak about my life using this word? But instead of learning just one word, you learn the whole phrases. It will be much easier for you to construct sentences. Instead of just learning one word, better learn the phrase act your age or come of age. Act your age means that you are encouraging your opponent to behave in accordance with one's expected level of maturity. In other words, you are just asking to stop doing nonsense and behave yourself. Come of age means becoming an adult, or if we speak about some project, it means that the project is completely developed. The main thing I'm talking about here is that you have to memorize the words in phrases, not just bold words in order to use them in speech. And if you already know phrases, it will be easier for you to construct sentences like you construct a building from bricks. Well, I mean, not you construct the building, but the constructor constructs the building. The second point, which is very important to speak English fluently, is that you should transfer words from passive to active vocabulary. Let me explain everything a little bit. When you see the word for the first time, it will be added to your passive vocabulary. It means that you will be able to identify this word while reading a text and translate it, but you won't use it when speaking yourself. To speed up your speech flow, you need to take the word from your passive vocabulary and transfer it to active vocabulary. The best way to do it is just start using this word in real life, in real conversations. So your brain will step by step start to feel more comfortable using this word. At first, you will need to concentrate and constantly think about using the word, but with time you will just use it unconsciously without paying much attention to it. And when it's done, you will see that you will start to speak more fluently. The third painful mistake that people commit very often is starting to panic if you forget the word during the conversation. I was speaking about some serious topic and suddenly realized that I forgot the word maintain, for instance. And I cannot remember this word and I'm just keeping silent, going red with shame like a tomato. That's actually the worst thing I could have done, because there is no sense at all trying to remember the difficult word during the conversation. If you forgot something, just continue talking. That's all the secret. If you don't remember one word, replace it with another and just continue speaking. Don't remember the word maintain, just say keep up or support. And that is it. Don't be afraid of making a mistake, because it's natural not only for those who learn English, but also for the native speakers. They commit mistakes every day, but don't care too much about it. So why should you do? Just replace one word with another, or at least explain the meaning of the word if you can't remember any synonyms at all. The biggest mistake you can make is just to keep silent in the middle of the conversation. So don't do it. Continue speaking, that's the best thing you can do. The next piece of advice may seem a little bit strange, but it's very efficient and I know it from my own experience. If you are home alone or even not alone, just try to describe every action you do in English. This may seem awkward, but that is really a good technique to practice English when you don't have anyone to practice it with. For example, you can do it like that. I'm brushing my teeth with a very pleasant minty toothpaste. That keeps my teeth clean and it's beneficial for my health. And now I'm doing exercises. Push-ups help to strengthen my muscles and provide me with a good mood for the rest of the day. Or I'm drinking green tea now. This tea is a perfect blend made of the finest tea leaves from China and India. I love drinking tea very much.
It's actually water.
I know that's weird, but it really helps to transfer phrases from passive vocabulary to active vocabulary, of which we've talked already before. Constantly murmuring about your daily routine in English, you will learn how to speak about a vast area of topics like home, transport, cooking, leisure, and more. And next time when you need to talk to someone about your work or daily routine, you will be able to do it easily because you have already done that at home in a stress-free atmosphere about a million times before. My next advice is about learning tongue twisters. You are not necessarily have to learn them by heart, but you can just read them at a good pace. The logic here is very simple. Your tongue just gets acquainted with all the tricky sounds that exist in English, and you don't even mention how you start speaking English faster and with a more correct pronunciation. Let's have a look at this example. You can repeat the tongue twister after me or just listen to it and return to it later. Whether the weather be fine or whether the weather be not. Whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot. We'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. As you have probably guessed, I'm not a native English speaker, but I started learning English at school when I was 6 years old, and that was one of the first tongue twisters I've ever learned. That's why I really like it very much, and it's really useful to practice the sounds w and th. So you also may start with that one or find some other tongue twisters that are really important to accelerate your pace of speech in English. Your mouth feels more comfortable at higher paces having learned some tongue twisters, and that's why schoolish poems like that may be very useful in real life. The next tip is about listening to English music and watching movies in their original language. And the best part of watching films in English is that you can do it just for fun, but at the same time you derive a lot of benefits for you. For me, the best movie not only to learn English, but also one of my favorites is Pirates of the Caribbean. I absolutely love the whole franchise, and I spent long hours watching each episode after another, learning all the tricky phrases and expressions of Captain Jack Sparrow.
I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. Savvy.
It was really very fun to watch all the movies from the franchise. I was in high school at that time. And then I didn't realize that I was doing two very important things at a time. I was resting from my studies, watching a pleasant movie, but also I learned English because I wanted to understand what my favorite heroes were saying. So I looked up a lot of words in the dictionary, and some of them soon became my active vocabulary. Obviously, not all of them, but some substantial part. So if you already have some level of English, around B1 I think, you can already start watching movies in original, not translated to your language. That will boost up your language proficiency even further, and you will learn new words and phrases smoothly without spending long hours at the desk. And now the most important advice ever: just speak English. Practice is the most important thing in every field. So if you do all of the things mentioned above but don't have real-life conversation experience, that's not a very efficient way of learning English. It's better to live for some time in an English-speaking country, but I understand that it may be hard for various reasons. We all live in different countries and have different circumstances. I mean, visa restrictions, money issues, etc. So it's not always possible to go to the UK or to the US to live for a couple of months. But it's always possible to enroll in a local speaking club or just talk to a friend who knows English. That real-life conversation experience will help you a lot learning English, because it's not reading that expands your passive vocabulary, it's not even watching movies, it's real-life situations in which you have to react and use your English as it is. If you still have any doubts about how to learn English having fun but efficiently, you can take a couple of private lessons with us in our online school English with Ned. Check the link to our Instagram in the description below and write to us straight away if you have any questions. See you in the next video. Bye!